Hey, it's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Radcliffe.
There he is backstage. Hey, to catch this guy, you got to be fast and furious because he's moving. Harmini, rap artist, songwriter, and actor, and more. In fact, we don't have time really to talk about what he is. He's a great dad, great husband. Harmini, how are you?
Man, I'm doing really, really good, bro. And I just want to say thank you to both you and Dan for just bringing me on. And I'm excited to share with you some of the amazing things that God is doing in my life. And hopefully by sharing some of these things, you as well as those who get to see the broadcast will be encouraged, man.
We're excited to hear about it because we live vicariously through you, Harmini, because you're making movies, you're making music, you're everywhere. We love it.
Hey, man. There's a time coming, I think, man, where maybe we all could collaborate and do something spectacular. And I mean that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That's awesome. Let me say something that I've been following him on Facebook. And he's got this video about an abused woman. And he plays the abusive husband. How hard was that?
That was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy. And it was a little bit difficult because when you're trying to get in character for something like that, to make it feel real, you actually have to allow yourself to feel those type of emotions in order to display. And so we had to go through it a couple times, but nevertheless, I believed in the message, and so that made it a little bit easier for me to kind of slide in. Although there was. I had to practice a little bit before I actually, was able to really nail it the way that, they wanted me to and that I felt comfortable with, because it's real. Stuff happens, man. People get abused, women get abused, even men, are in relationships. And a lot of people don't think of it like that. Right. On the man side, they usually think of more of the abuse coming to the women from the man. But the reality is that there's a lot of men out there who are in relationships where their girlfriends or wives, hit them, or, verbally abuse them like crazy and just, belittle them. And, I believe in the message of that video. And so we got, I think, 81,000 views in one day.
Wow.
Yeah. Awesome. And we're still growing in that. And then I got another video I'll be doing similar to that, just a different message. I go to do the acting role for that on January 29th. So guys, be looking out for that one too.
Awesome. Now, the last time we talked to you, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were working on a movie or you just gotten a deal for a movie. Tell us how all that's going.
Yeah, that, man, brother, that was just the whole way that whole thing came into play was just incredible. But I got to go out to lunch with the director and producer not that long ago. Had took me out to a real nice Japanese restaurant. It was pretty amazing. Right. Yeah, they were doing all kinds of tricks and craziness. And so I got to sit down with him and chat. And the movie is actually coming along really, really well. There was a funding situation that needed to come into play. And they don't want backing any less than 1.5 mil. But I think that they're moving more towards 2.2. And they're still waiting to bring it to the surface for production and everything, simply because COVID still is out there. Right. And because COVID is still out there, you just can't move as freely as you want to. Right. And they want to go to Elmira, New York to actually film where I grew up, the exact locations of where I was born and where some of those, incidences as with me as a kid growing up actually took place, the raids, everything. And so it's just like, we're still waiting. We wanted to start in January of this year, but it's not happening yet. So
it's a little cold to be up there in Elmira, New York at this time of the year, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Wait till summertime.
yeah. I mean, it actually, we don't get snow out here, man. And we just had gotten a little bit the other day, and I think that was the first time that we'd even seen snow in like 5-6 years. Yeah. And so it's like, but I don't miss it as much being upstate. Simply because the city that I grew up in it's just run down, man. And just, needles all on the grounds when you're walking and just a lot of drama and chaos and stuff, man. My hope when I go back there and the way that I go back there, will be able to bring the gospel, man, then bring encouragement and inspiration, hopefully touch somebody who can help, bring life back to that city.
Yeah. Well, you're going to do it. even though it's on pause at this point. You don't rest at all. I think you just keep moving, and that's you're an inspiration
Thank you.
because you want to see people's lives change. So just because there's a little speed bump, that doesn't stop you. Just keep going. We appreciate that. Let's talk a little bit about. We want to talk about what's coming up for you, and it's a lot. I did notice that the Bad Folks movie soundtrack is out on Spotify. We can talk about that and whatever the other things that you're doing for 2021. Give me one thing though that you think you learned from 2020 that can help you to move forward in 2021.
Okay, so and it may be different than a lot of people, because I know a lot of people suffered badly in 2020. There was a lot of people that struggled. A lot of people had died from COVID and even other things. And some people would say that 2020 was the worst year of their life, or the worst year, for America. My situation was very different. 2020 was the best year of my life. There were more open doors for me, more blessings, more financial blessings, more connections and relationships and things that were established and that came out of 2020 than ever before in the history of my entire existence. And so for me, what I learned is that in a time of chaos, in a time of trials, in a time where storms are brewing and blowing, God has the power to preserve his people. You can have craziness going around in Egypt and all this stuff, man, but God has the power to cover you and protect you and still bless you in a time when the rest of the world is in utter chaos. So that's something I have to take with me. Not saying that there aren't seasons that I don't go through things, because there's been a lot of seasons where I've been through some things, but this particular ministered to me because I'm looking around and seeing people suffering and broke and money and craziness and death and all this stuff happening. And I'm in perfect peace. I'm sheltered. I'm covered. I'm blessed. And it's just really an encouragement, man, to see how God can do that to someone, or a select amount of people for his glory. And so, it really built my faith, brother.
Only God could have you be at peace in a time where the world around you is in chaos and tumult, right?
Only God.
Yeah.
Only God, man. Jesus gives you a peace. And I it really just comes down with keeping your mind, stayed on him. And that's biblical. He says, when you keep your mind stayed on me, I will keep you in perfect peace. And, sometimes it's hard for people to do that. But for me, I was really, really, really adamant about focusing on Christ, man. And not only did he give me that peace, he surrounded me with just a tremendous amount of blessings, bro. And it's all used for his glory. It's all used for, to minister and to bring the gospel to the nations. And I really believe, and everyone around me believes, that God is taking me to a global platform through media, arts, and entertainment, through the movies, through the soundtracks, so that I can declare the truth of who he is, and in hopes of sowing seeds that bring dead souls into the kingdom so that they can be brought back to life, man.
That is so good. Harmony with us. All right, let's talk about 2021. I know you have many irons in the fire for 2021. Give us what you're most excited about, you think?
Well, at this point, I mean, obviously the movie about my life is a big, big, big deal, but that's still on the back burner right now. So I would say until that happens, probably the biggest thing that I'm most excited about is that the soundtrack that I wrote for Lawrence Fishburne's movie the movie was formerly known as Brother's Keeper. But then it got picked up, major distribution. It's a big deal. Saban Films got it. They scored the rights in both the US and the UK. And so now that movie will be in theaters across America and in theaters across the UK. And I have the main soundtrack. So as soon as people are sitting down in the theaters, the first 90 seconds of that movie is Harmony rapping and Harmony on deck. And then, of course, I got a music video that also has Lawrence Fishburne and some of the other actors in the music video. So when that gets released, that'll be a great thing for me as well. And I do have a lot of plans for 2021, brother. There's already been a lot of things that have been happening.
How cool is that, man? You got a music video with Lawrence Fishburne in it. I love Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, he's great, man. He's a great actor.
He's Morpheus, man. I love him from.
Oh, Morpheus, let's go.
Hey, I don't know. I don't know about you, but I would be, I don't know, to be, and I'm not really a starstruck person, but I think if I were in that place, and this is hard to believe, I wouldn't know what to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be there. I'm like pinching myself going, am I really supposed to be here?
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you made that comment. Am I really supposed to be here? Because, out of my life and me being a Christian who loves God, who has the power of God evident in my life, the transformation is very evident. I was on a phone call with a gentleman the other day, a Zoom call rather, and we were talking about all of the things that God had been doing in my life in 2020, which was extraordinary. And then coming into 2021 with all of the things that are lined up. And the reality is, God can do this for anyone. And I know this to be true because I know myself. I know my struggles. I know my sin. I know where my mistakes are at. And yet, if I had to choose a person for the position of to be in the position of all the things that are taking place, I would not choose me. I wouldn't choose me because I know myself, and I would already disqualify myself because I feel like God could be using somebody better, that God could be using somebody that fits that mold a lot better than me. But God, in his infinite wisdom and his perfection and all his glory, chose me anyway. And for whatever reason, he trusts me. And so if God, with all my, my life and just my mistakes and my failures, sees something in me that he would qualify me when I would disqualify myself, that means that there's a lot of people out there who may feel disqualified, who may feel like they've hit a roof and they can't go farther. But the truth is that God qualifies you when other people don't qualify you. And God gives you grace when other people feel you don't deserve grace, even if you don't think you deserve that grace.
Wow.
And God's plan and his purpose is yes and amen. His promises are yes and amen. And I know that God wants to use us in a very real way to reach people around the world. And a lot of times we feel like we're not going to get there. We feel like we can't get there. But I truly believe it's all about timing. A season under heaven when things in Rick's life, and things in Dan's life, and when things in your life and my life, they actually cannot even happen. No matter how hard you want them to, no matter how hard you try to bang on the door, they're not going to happen because they can't. They cannot be unlocked until the time comes when God puts that key in, unlocks that door, and then new things begin to happen in your life, in the chapter, to get you to where God is taking you ultimately.
Wow,
man, Harmony, such wisdom. Good stuff.
It's true. It's very true. I've learned, this is one thing I hold very tight to, and what I've learned over the years is that God has a plan. He has a purpose. And even when you don't qualify yourself, if God qualifies you and he's chosen you and you have given yourself over to Christ, he will bring you to where you're going. And age doesn't matter, situations, complications, finances, none of that matters, because in a moment, God can change everything.
Yeah. And you see that throughout the Bible. I mean, you look at Moses, you look at Gideon, you look at all these people who thought, I am the least of these. Why are you using me? But God does it anyway. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's powerful, man.
It is.
Harmini with us, rap artist, songwriter, father, husband, evangelist, actor, etc., etc., etc. And as you hear from his lips, it's God's just really blessed him and put him in place. Thank you for being obedient. I mean, yeah, sure, he could get other folks, but you've said, yes, I'll do whatever.
He sees your humble heart, and he can use it.
Love it. All right. Well, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much. Would love to talk to you in a few months. Remind us the name of that movie that you've done the soundtrack to.
Okay, so this year, to be on the lookout for several. So you have Under the Stadium Lights. That's the Lawrence Fishburne movie.
Okay.
Saban Films changed the name from Brothers Keeper to Under the Stadium Lights. So that's the one that will be out this year in theaters. Then we have Texas Kill City is another one that I have the soundtrack for that will be out this year. And then there's a film called Bad Folks as well that will be coming out this year. And we're just going to keep the momentum going. There's other movies and films that are already lining up for me. And we can get back on at another time to talk about those things and hopefully be an encouragement to people. I really enjoy it. Enjoy talking with you guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your ministry and what you guys are doing. You may not realize it, but you are making an impact. You are doing the work of the Lord, and he's proud of you guys. And I'm proud of you guys.
We appreciate you, man. Now, anywhere that folks can hear the music at least from the Lawrence Fishburne movie, where can they hear it?
Okay, the Lawrence Fishburne soundtrack has not dropped yet. As soon as they get that video out back to me, they're editing it right now. I will begin the process of getting that out where people can hear it. Right now, the Bad Folks movie soundtrack is out. It dropped today. And I'm hoping to release music every single month throughout the whole year. So those who stay tuned to me, they can, through my social media or my website, everything will be on there. Shows, dates, events I'm doing, places I'm going, speaking, whatever the case is, new music, videos, it'll all be there. And I'm excited to release it.
Sweet.
HarmonyProductions.com, the place to go to. And we just love this guy to pieces. And Harmony, thank you for being encouraging to Frankie Holbrook. We miss her, and we've tried to get her on a few times, and we know that she's still struggling from that just that horrific accident. But our prayers have been with her, and I know yours as well. But I've seen you encourage her over social media, and I think that's awesome.
Man, she's, brother, she's a part of our family, man. We love her. You love her. And we're going to just continue to speak life into her body, man, and pray that God raises her up. I'm actually in the process of editing a TV show pilot that me and Frankie had filmed and put together the last time I was out in Atlanta. And so hopefully that's another thing this year that we'll be able to do is have that TV show pilot finished, 30-minute episode to pitch to networks, and praying that God picks that up. And at that point, maybe since we're going to be probably filming in that area, you guys can maybe come out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's get in there, man. Why not?
We'd love to be there, hang with you, and just see you, just see what you do right up close and personal.
I love it, brother.
Harmony there. And Dan, if you'll pop that website up one more time, HarmonyProductions.com. You can also follow them on Facebook and all the social media venues. Harmony, we got to go. We got to take a break. Bless you. Love you.
Bless you. Love you guys too, man. Thank you so much for your time.
We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk.